Pop Smoke's camp just released Pop Smoke's second posthumous album, Faith, and this was a really nice piece of news, especially coming into the summer, because fans were delighted everywhere. I mean, I remember when this news came out, every Pop Smoke fan was really ready to hear what, you know, the camp had to come out with, especially after 2020's Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon. That had massive commercial appeal, and listen, now we're here. We're in July of 2021. It is the middle of the hot season in hip-hop, and Pop Smoke has just dropped a new album. So, you know, how do you feel about this going into it? And, you know, what were your kind of expectations when you heard that Pop Smoke was going to be releasing a second posthumous album?
Yeah, I was definitely interested. I mean, Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon, to me, is one of the better posthumous albums we've gotten in recent times. So I was definitely excited to turn up to some new Pop Smoke once again. And by the way, guys, before we continue, let us know in the comments your thoughts on this new project and your favorite song. But I mean, to me, I was craving some new Pop Smoke. I mean, even when we got this year off a Lucy like AP, got me really hyped for what was to come, because that made me know, like, okay, there's still a lot of fire in the vault from Pop Smoke, and we did hear a lot of that on the project.
Absolutely, we did hear a lot of it. But, you know, going through the whole vibe of the project, like, let's say starting from, I believe it's 1 to 20, how did you feel about the length of the project and the overall listen, you know, especially that now 50 Cent was not behind the sort of executive producer role, if we could call him that, on, you know, the 2020 release. So how did you feel about that, and did it change the listen from the last time?
It definitely changed. I feel like this project was a bit underwhelming. I mean, I wouldn't put it in the same, I would say, category as Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon. I feel like this one maybe wasn't handled with as much care, but that's not to say that Pop Smoke's verses weren't great, because they all hit for me. It was just certain times I felt like his vocals weren't meant for certain beats, and I also feel like maybe you know, the features were kind of poorly mixed in with Pop Smoke's verses. But I was happy that, like, Pop Smoke had his shine. It's not like the features overtook his performances.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And not only that, but I was also happy to see the sort of direction of the production of the album was mostly New York drill for the most part. So that was nice to see. And then obviously you had your pop standouts with Dua Lipa, I believe it was on Demeanor. And then after that, also you had some Neptune's productions on Spoiled. And then I believe, what was the other Neptune's?
There were three. I'm not sure the titles, but there was three Neptune's produced songs.
And how did you like that? How did you find that was?
It was all right. Honestly, I mean, I feel like, you know, with Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon, we kind of got more of a variety in production. With this one, it stayed kind of stagnant, and the mixing and the mastering could have been a bit better.
That was one thing that I did notice too, was that there was times where I was trying to understand Pop Smoke's, let's say, freestyling, or when I would try to listen to what he was saying, and I wouldn't be able to, like, necessarily make it out just because maybe the beat was too loud. But besides
also a beat like Top Shotter, for example, like you had the island vibes from the Neptunes, but then you kind of got trap drums, which kind of made it a bit weird and a bit awkward. And you got like a weird horn that would pop in at random times. And that kind of just felt out of place. But I guess, I don't know, they tried to go for something new to make Pop Smoke rap over a different kind of beat. But that one just didn't hit for me. But there were some good productions. Like early on in the track list,
More Time was absolutely flames.
More Time was a good one.
Tell the Vision was fantastic. Manslaughter was really good. Brush 'Em was fire. 30 was fantastic, but actually for Busy Banks, because that was a great feature, and that was probably one of my top 3 features on the whole track list. How about you? How did you feel about that?
Busy Banks absolutely killed it. I mean, I loved his energy, his confident aura the whole time. That was awesome. About a Million is another standout for me. Love the beat there. You kind of have this acoustic guitar-driven melody, and then you have, you know, the drill influence. And 21 Savage did his thing on that one.
That's true.
That was a cool feature.
How did you feel about the 42 Doug feature?
It was okay. What did you think of it?
It was okay. It did its job. It was there.
I'm sad about Kanye being short-lived on television, though.
That
like,
is
he has
true.
that intro with this kind of manic energy that he brings, but overall, I mean, it was like less than 30 seconds probably.
It was to start off the song, and apparently this was supposed to be on Donda, so
yeah,
that's very interesting. And
what did you think of Pusha T on it?
He was good. Like, it was definitely a great verse. It obviously gave us the news that he is going to be dropping soon, and then he had also made that connection of like, okay, Tyler just dropped, he has album of the year for now, and now Pop Smokes is gonna grab it. So it was a cool verse. I mean, it wasn't anything that I would get off Daytona, but it was definitely cool to see that Pusha T was going to be on this track list. I was happy about it. Honestly, the 2 verses from Pusha T on Tell the Vision, and then after that Top Shotta, neck and neck for me. One didn't really outshine the other, so that was pretty well balanced. How about Takeoff on What's Cracking? How did you like that?
Just a standard Takeoff flow. Like, really nothing interesting there for me. to take out of it. Came in with, you know, his usual flair, but that stagnant flow is just, I've heard it too much on Culture 3 and even prior to that, so that didn't do much for me. One of the standouts, though, on the album for me was actually a Woo Baby interlude, where you have Pop Smoke rapping a cappella, and that just really showed me his raw talent and skills, and I'm like, you know, I would love to see this for so many other of my favorite artists where, you know, they're rapping without production. You know what I mean? That really shows the talent behind your vocals. And honestly, throughout the whole project, his delivery was very playful, but also cynical. And it was just, he brought in that classic menacing Pop Smoke energy that I fell in love with before this project.
Absolutely, and I feel as if he was also sort of going back to a certain style that he had showcased on the Me Too, the first installment, and after that the second one as well.
For sure.
I really like that because, you know, he could have obviously experimented with different things, but I mean, for a posthumous album, you kind of have to play it safe in the way, like, you know, that you're spreading the verses and everything else that goes on. So it was cool to see that most of this project was drill influenced. And the only, you know, the other thing that I like, is also the way that the album ended off. Merci beaucoup.
That was a great outro.
That was a great outro. I love the little passage that Pop Smoke gave at the end, and really hits home because he was just talking about how, you know, if you're a creator, don't let anything get in between your creations, and really strive to put your art out there, and really strive to go get what you want, and don't let anyone tell you that you can't do that. So I love the way he ended off the album. How did you feel about Good News and starting off that?
Yeah, that was interesting because you had, you know, this female voice coming in.
I'm not sure if it was a family member or anyone else. Please confirm that in the comments, actually, if you guys know.
And she was saying, like, with the title, with the album title being Faith, I'm sure you expected a gospel album, and I'm like, it's Pop Smoke. Why would I expect a gospel album? But that was kind of cool. You know, she delivers the line, "The smoke will never clear." And that's true, man. His legacy will live on, you know, beyond this. And I'm not saying that I want to hear more posthumous records. I think at a certain point, you know, you have to let the legacy be what it is, and, you know, just let the catalog sit there for what it is. But it was a good intro. I felt like, you know, if you're going to introduce a narrator, maybe keep that going a few more times within the project, and we didn't really get that too much. But it was a good way to introduce the project.
It was a good way to introduce the project. How about that Rick Ross feature on Manslaughter? That was very interesting. When I saw that Rick Ross feature, I was like, how is that going to sound, and how is that going to come in? So how did you enjoy that?
It was smooth as every Rose feature,
Absolutely.
man. I mean,
how consistent is he with his features?
He's one of the best feature artists out there, and he just gives you, you know, some luxury bars, and he really slid over that production. And The Dream also offered some very dreamy vocals, ironically enough.
Absolutely. How about Mr. Jones with Future? How did you feel about that joint?
That was okay. I mean, I like what Future did in the way that, like, he kind of set the scenery of where he was in Miami, you know, trying to impress women. And his vocal performance was pretty cool. It was laid back.
It was more of a melodic Future that you may have found on, let's say, something like Hendrix. Yeah, that's the way I felt it, at least. And it was cool to see that Pop Smoke was also able to go on more melodic beats. But, you know, let's get on to a pretty big song on this, because when you see Lil TJ and Pop Smoke collaborating on the same song, you definitely know it's going to be a W. So, genius. Pop Smoke, Lil TJ, and Sway Lee.
I love what Pop Smoke did on this one, okay? Because for his verse, he's kind of really showing that duality of kind of the melodic rapping and the aggressive rapping. He does a bit of both on his verse. TJ's verse didn't impress me too much, though.
Oh, really?
No, I didn't fuck with it. What about you?
I was more than fine with it. Like, I really...
Yeah, keep going. Sorry.
I really did like it. Like, I think it was a solid effort from TJ, and especially that he had gotten more into his rap bag, and it was like kind of more like it was a New York drill beat. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it wasn't necessarily anything that you had gotten on, you know, Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon on, like, on the first installment. You know, so it was cool to see that, and I liked the way Sway Lee was actually able to glide on it. Like, he really didn't sound out of place on a New York drill beat.
It was cool to see Sway Lee on it, because I feel like he's more utilized for his hooks, and here he actually was rapping. So I feel like that was the first feature in a long time that I actually got a Sway Lee, you know, full-on rap verse. So that was pretty cool.
How about 8 Ball? Kid Cudi. How did you feel about that? I feel as if that's like one of the only features where I was a bit underwhelmed because, you know, going back to Man on the Moon, the third installment, I can't remember the name of the track right now. It's going to slip my mind. Hold on, let me pull this track list up. But the first time I heard that collaboration between them two, I was quite impressed because I believe the first time Kid Cudi had gone on to this song, it was a drill beat. And now you got something completely different. So how did you like it?
Yeah, I definitely preferred the first version that we had heard. And this one, I mean, I don't know, Kid Cudi kind of gives you these, I would say, depressive and melancholic vocals. And I don't know, it just didn't do it for me.
It was Show Out with Skepta and Pop Smoke. Excuse me, I can't believe I forgot that. But yeah, I definitely preferred Show Out over this. And I feel as if like it wasn't necessarily anyone's fault at all. I just feel as if like it wasn't necessarily the mood for a Pop Smoke album.
Yeah.
It felt like something that would have maybe fit better on Man on the Moon 3. So maybe that's a little gripe that I have with it. How about Pharrell Williams? How did you find it? He did.
He was okay. He kind of gave more of a pop singing type verse and just kind of forgettable to me, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, it didn't really do it for me. So which features would you have wanted to see, let's say, on this project?
Oh, wow. For sure, Drake. I would have loved to hear a Drake feature on this.
Bobby Shmurda and Pop Smoke is a collaboration that would go crazy, man.
Absolutely. I would like to see Bobby Shmurda on this as well. Travis Scott. I think Travis deserved to have a placement on here, but whatever, you know, it's just... It's nice to see that, you know, people are enjoying the albums and that people are still listening through Pop Smoke's catalog.
So what are your overall thoughts?
I enjoyed the album to a certain extent. There was definitely flaws and gripes that I had with it. But the thing is that it's a posthumous release. You know, you can't judge it as the same way as you're going to do an album. And that's why we didn't put criteria on this because it wouldn't make sense to do so. I feel as if the first posthumous album was handled better, as you said. I feel as if it had more of a cohesive, like, let's say, feel to it. And, you know, 50 Cent really handled it properly. On this, I feel as if maybe the track list was a bit too long to a certain extent. Not only that, but
I don't know if that's the issue though, because Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon was around the same length.
Maybe you're right. Maybe not the track list, but probably the features though.
Okay.
Like having to, like, it was just, there was a lot going on the album, and again, it's a posthumous album, and it sounded more of like a track list. Like, I rather call it more of like a track list where like there's a lot of songs on.
Probably more like a playlist, right?
Yeah, like more of a playlist vibe. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like more where I could pluck certain songs out that'll stay within my rotation. And honestly, I'm just happy I got new Pop Smoke material. That's what I'm happy about. Regardless of the overall feel and cohesiveness of the project, I'm gonna definitely take a couple of songs out of here and add them to my playlist. But how about you? How did you like it overall?
I mean, I definitely enjoyed Pop Smoke's performances all throughout. I mean, it just goes to show that he's never really dropped a whack verse, and you know, his hook game's pretty good here too. And we didn't really get, you know, a lot of the melodic singing type of thing that he did on Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon on songs like, you know, What You Know About Love, for example. But regardless, every performance that he had was great. I love how, you know, he was sharing anecdotes about his mother giving him advice and, you know, kind of certain street codes that he lived by. So also a lot of motivational bars too. So I love the content matter from Pop Smoke. Loved his delivery. Loved his flows. The features were kind of underwhelming to me personally. And the production, the mixing, the mastering could have been handled a bit better. Overall, I feel like I won't revisit this project too much, but I'm happy that we got, you know, a project to celebrate Pop Smoke because his legacy does deserve all the flowers.
Absolutely. You see his influence nowadays, and you see what types of numbers he's doing with his posthumous material, and it is extremely impressive. Long live Pop Smoke, man. He was a young inventor, and he was doing a lot of great stuff. And it's really sad that his career got cut short, but thankfully we were able to get more material from the camp. So listen, guys, if you did enjoy this review, please subscribe. We're doing reviews all summer, and this one is a bit different. You know, we usually have our criteria, so we don't necessarily rate stuff on the channel on numerical value. We go from stuff like, you know, bad, mid, good, amazing, then perfect, and then we rank different criteria like, you know, artist performance, content, production, instant replay value, and features. So, you know, those are the things you could expect from us in the future. And listen, guys, thank you for watching all the way through, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you guys for watching the whole video. Hit that subscribe button to join the family. We're doing weekly reviews. We're giving you guys all the updates in the industry. Plus, we have our series called What to Expect, where we actually take you through the album before it drops. Plus, if you guys want to chat with us, you guys could join our Discord server. The link is in the bio. You guys could talk hip-hop with us there. Thank you guys for watching again. And guys, I'll see you on the next one.